I'm speaking these days about this book, Penetrating the Darkness, which they'll tell you more about later. And it came about as a result of my leading for many years a congregation and continuing to lead today in environments where calling people to pray in belief that what we do makes the difference between whether it's going to be light in people's souls or in a part of the world or in penetrating the darkness and making a difference in all of our world. And it takes people who pray. But it's not a kind of cross your fingers and hope, nor is it just praying for my own personal needs. When we've been called to pray, kingdom praying, spiritual warfare, it has to do with extending boundaries. It's warfare that makes an advance, but they are not boundaries of an earthly measure. The boundaries that Jesus said and spoke about on his own part when he said, "All power has been given to me in heaven and earth, all authority." He is the Lord. He received that as a result of his death and resurrection. So he's speaking post-resurrection, all power is mine, the power of redemption and release because of my cross, the power of life and deliverance because of my resurrection. He is the Lord. And he says, I want to give you a place of function in that. So it is not presumption. We'll say, well, I'll take it on myself to have a private spiritual war, and just kind of what Jesus did wasn't that big a deal. What Jesus did is the fountainhead of it all. But now he said, I want you to engage with me the triumph of the cross by invoking that triumph into your present world by prayer. We'll talk more about that when we talk about the Lord's Prayer, because that's pivotal to this. He said, pray your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as in heaven. But right now I want you to hear the response of the Apostle Paul, who had no illusions about who won the victory. It is the Lord's victory. He's the one who triumphed over all the powers of darkness in his resurrection, and certainly broke the power, the cords of death, and the deservedness of our own judgment and anyone else for the reasons of our failure humanly when he died on the cross. And the Apostle Paul, speaking about this call we have, says, we're not wrestling against principalities and powers in the earth level. It is not earthly dynamics that we conflict with, but spiritual ones. We live in a world filled with evil. It can only become with the light of the gospel and the life of Jesus to penetrate that darkness.